Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the Arts Declare Your Major information session. I'm glad that you could all join us today. My name is Rachel Anderson and I am one of the first year advisors in the Faculty of Arts. Here also with me today is Andrea West, who is another advisor for first year. And we also have Joe Baramo, who is the first year advisor for students who are co-registered with St. Jerome's University. So we are all here to help you throughout your first year. And before we start talking about the Declare Your Major process, I just wanted to give a couple of housekeeping items. So just to let you know, this session will be recorded, so you can always watch it again if you think that you missed something. All of the links to the web pages that I'm going to be talking about today were included in the original email invitation that you received for today's session, but we will also send a follow-up email tomorrow morning with those links again. Closed captioning is available, so if you would like to turn that on, you can do so on your own screen by clicking the 3 dots with more actions. And then finally, you will complete your Declare Your Major form. So today we're going to give a bit of an overview of the process and what's involved in declaring your major. So step 1, criteria for declaring your major. We have 2 majors available. This is the general program and the honors program. So you need a 70% average in your major subject for an honors major, or a 65% average in your major subject for our general plans. If you did want to combine arts and business, this can be done with your honors major only, and a 70% arts and business average is required. And your ARBIS average is made up of ARBIS 101, 102, Econ 101, and ARBIS 202. To declare your major, you also need a cumulative average of at least 60%. So this includes all of the courses that you will ever take at Waterloo, and it's cumulative for all of those grades. You also need a minimum of 8 courses completed, and completed means passed, by the end of your first year. Then you will need 1 or 2 courses in your major subject. So I'll go into more detail in the next slide about which ones need 1 and which ones need 2. So most of our majors really only require 1 course completed for admission to that major. There are a few majors that do require 2 courses, and these are economics, fine arts, studio practice, music, political science, sexuality, marriage and family studies, social development studies, and visual culture. So that's the overview of the criteria to declare your major, and step 2 is to learn about the different majors that are available. So throughout March, departments will be hosting information sessions so that you can learn about all of the different majors and minors that are available. We have 29 majors and over 40 minors that you can choose from. So there are lots and lots of options and a lot of really exciting opportunities for you to explore different subject areas within the Faculty of Arts. So please do take the opportunity throughout March to learn about all of the different possibilities for you. And please do attend a session for every major that you're interested in. So how do you do this? The next slide has a screenshot of our Arts Declare Your Major website, where you can find links to today. The recordings will also be posted here after this. And then the bottom part of that page has a link to the departmental information sessions. So when you go to that website, you can click on that link, and that will take you to the next slide, which shows the different departments and what they have available for learning about those programs. So you'll see, for example, classical studies, they have a live information session on March 9th that you can attend to learn more about that major or minor. And you can click register here to sign up for that, and you will get an email with the link to join that meeting. Other departments have contact information for the advisor. So if the major that you're interested in doesn't have a live session, you can just contact that advisor with a quick email and ask them for some more information, or maybe you have some specific questions about the major. You can include those in your email to the advisor. You will also notice that the title of the major is hyperlinked there, so that will take you to the major's website, and you can also do some of your own research to get you started. Okay, so once you've gone through this page and learned about the different majors available, step 3 is to submit the Declare Your Major form. So this form goes live tomorrow. And will be due April 9th. So it's a very simple step-by-step form. The link to access the form once it's live tomorrow will be found in the email that you received today or on the website that we just looked at. So I just want to show you quickly what the form will look like. So the next slide shows the form. You need to log in with your WatIM to access the form. So once you do that, you'll be brought to the form and you can scroll down. There is no rush to complete the form. So it does open tomorrow, but you have until April 9th. So take your time, explore your options, and then when you're ready, you can submit the form. I will also note that you can submit the form multiple times, and we will just take your most recent submission when we evaluate you for admission to the major. So if you make a mistake or change your mind, you can submit the form multiple times. The next slide just has some more screenshots of what the form will look like. So you'll fill in your basic student information, and I put a star beside your student ID number. Please make sure that this is your correct number. If you haven't memorized your student ID number yet, this is a great opportunity to do that. You will need your student ID number for just about everything that you do at the university, so it's good to have it memorized, and making sure that it's correct when you enter it on the form ensures that we match your request with your the appropriate student account for you. The rest of the form on the right-hand side of the screen there just gives you a sample of some of the drop-down menus, so you can select your program and then select your major, and then there's a submit button at the bottom. If you do need help filling out the form, the next slide shows you where you can get that help. So we have a video tutorial that you can watch on YouTube. I think it's about 2 minutes long, and it goes through step by step of filling out the form. So if you run into problems or you're not sure how to answer a question, you can always watch that quick video for some more help on the form. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the criteria for the form and the process for declaring your major. The next slide will have some commonly asked questions. So let's dive into those and get you some of those answers. Okay, so the first question that we often get is, what if I don't have 8 courses completed? And we talked about this earlier as being a criteria for declaring a major. So most students can take courses in the spring to reach the 8 courses required to declare their major. If you're in a regular program, you can take pretty much as many courses as you want in the summer, up to a maximum of 5, which is full-time. If you're in a co-op program, you can only have a maximum of 13 courses completed by the beginning of the fall 2021 term. So if you are in a co-op program and think you need to take more courses in the spring, please consult with your academic advisor just to be sure you won't exceed that maximum. I will also note that international students who are considering taking spring courses should connect with the immigration consultants in the Student Success Office first, just to verify that you are able to take spring courses on a study permit, because there are a few limitations to that. The next question that we commonly get is if you can declare 2 majors. So yes, you can. They both must be honors with the 70% average in each major subject. I'll also note that if you are in co-op, you will follow the sequence for whichever major you list first. So most majors do have the same sequence, but a few are different. So just be sure to check the co-op sequence listed on our Arts Co-op webpage. And if the sequences are different, just be aware that the major that you list first on your form will be the sequence that you follow. For students in arts and business, you may need to take a few extra courses beyond the 40 minimum to do the double major. So the next slide has a bit more detail on this. So it just breaks down of the 40 courses and then the requirements. There are 14 for ARVIS, 16 courses are required for each major. And then you have your breadth requirements and your arts first communication requirement. So if you're in ARVIS, it will be difficult to do a double major. It's still possible, it just might take more time. So if this is something that you're interested in with ARVIS, I would suggest talking to your academic advisor and just seeing if it is possible and what your options might be for that. The next question that we often also get is, do I even need to declare a major? So yes, but if you're unsure which major you want, an alternative is to complete your degree in our liberal studies program, and that's available both as an honors or a general major. Liberal studies is a great option if you don't have the required courses or the required grades for the major that you actually want yet. So this can be sort of your interim major. Honors Liberal Studies is available with co-op, so that's an option and can also be combined with arts and business. I will note that for the Honors Liberal Studies, an average of 70% is required across all Faculty of Arts courses. So the Liberal Studies plan will look at all of your arts courses that you take. And if you think you do know the major that you want, declaring that major now will make it easier for you doing course selection moving forward. So we do recommend that you declare a major if you think you know what major you'd like. And the last question that we often get is, can I declare a minor at the same time? And do I have to? So you can declare a minor or two minors during the declare your major process. This will be at I think it's the last question on the declare your major form, is if you want to add a minor. And when you're learning about the majors through the information sessions, all of our majors also offer a minor in that subject, and there are several standalone minors, so those are options as well. And as I said, there are over 40 minors available, so there's lots and lots to explore there, and it's a great way to add a little bit more specialization to your degree. Or if you'd rather not do a full major in a subject, you can always do a minor in that. It's completely optional to add a minor, you don't have to, but it is available to you, and you can do that during the declare your major process. The next slide just shows you where you can find more frequently asked questions and answers. So this is on our Arts Declare Your Major website. And the link to this website was in your original invitation email, so you can easily find that for future reference. I'm now going to pass it over to my colleague Joe, who is going to talk about co-registration with St. Jerome's University.
Great, thanks so much, Rachel. I hope everyone can hear me okay. My name is Joe Varamo. I'm the advising specialist at St. Jerome's University. And what the heck is St. Jerome's? Well, St. Jerome's is one of the 4 federated and affiliated institutions with UW. We offer both residence and academic sessions and a whole list of other academic opportunities for students. And essentially what we are is we're a smaller university embedded within a bigger university. We have all the benefits that are associated with a small institution, intimate class sizes, the ability to meet with your instructors, some one-on-one connectivity, a whole suite of staff that are there to help students navigate through their academic progression, while also still taking advantage of all the benefits that a large institution like UW has to offer, a world-renowned institution like co-op. So St. Jerome's offers students the ability to kind of have the best of both worlds, if you will. Often we refer to students that are co-registered at St. Jerome's as similar to those that have dual citizenship with two countries. You get the benefits of both institutions, of both resources, and you know, why, if it's such a great opportunity, why aren't a lot of students doing this? That's a good question, but usually it just comes down to personal preference. Some people enjoy the opportunity to have smaller classrooms. You know, our largest classroom only sits 300 students, and on average, our class sizes are roughly around 30 students. So to put that into comparison, if you're taking a course on the main campus and you're in Psych 101, you could be in a lecture hall with 600 students. But if you take the St. Jerome section of Psych 101, which is the same content, maybe just by a different instructor, the classroom will only be 300 students max. So that gives you a quick example as to, you know, some of the benefits in being co-registered at St. Jerome's. At the end of the day, you still get a UW degree and that credential. You have access to all the libraries and you have access to all the resources. There's just additional resources that are available to students that are co-registered. We're located, for those of you that are not aware, and if I can go to the next slide, thank you very much. You can see on this next slide here that St. Jerome's is located where that circle is, across the creek from the main campus at Waterloo. So we're close to the heart of all the activity, and we're there. You can reach us by one of 3 bridges that crosses the creek. So feel free to venture over anytime. And if you have more questions about what it means to be registered, co-registered at St. Jerome's, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to do so.
So next I'd like to invite my colleague Rachel Jensen up, and she is going to talk about co-op for art students at Waterloo. So thank you, Rachel.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Rachel Jensen, and I'm the Faculty Relations Manager in Cooperative Education, and I work with your faculty to work on and improve some of the co-op programs for you. So today I'd like to chat. You probably have heard about Waterloo Co-op already before getting to this point, but I'd like to talk a little bit more about what it looks like for you as an art student and how that might be able to pair well with your undergraduate degree. So moving on to our first slide here, you know, co-op provides a number of benefits. It's going to give you an opportunity to build that resume, build that network of contacts before you kind of go out into the professional world upon graduation. It helps you connect your learning both from the classroom into the workplace and vice versa, from the workplace back into the classroom, to kind of build on the knowledge that you're learning in both of those domains. And of course, it gives you an opportunity to offset a little bit of the cost, to maybe make a little bit of money and offset the cost of your studies here at Waterloo. I think the most important thing, though, is that it gives you an opportunity to test drive different types of work environments. So I like to think that co-op offers you, multiple opportunities to figure out what you like, what you don't like, learn a little bit about yourself as it relates to the workplace and to your career. And it really gives you that opportunity to do that in the safe space within your undergraduate degree, so that you have a little bit more preparation and career readiness for when you graduate in 4 years from now. I think it's also really important to recognize that the skills gained from one particular job are widely applicable to other domains. So a lot of the times, particularly for art students, they'll have a work experience in one sector, maybe in finance, and then they'll be able to transfer that into maybe more of a public service or a community type role, because they have that really breadth of skills that are so important for our employers. So I think it gives you a really good opportunity to get out there and have some of those experiences before you graduate. I also wanted to, just on the next slide, I also wanted to just kind of paint this picture for you a little bit too. The workplace is changing pretty rapidly, and it has been for a while now, and we know that's going to continue. So probably you're unlikely to have the typical career that your parents or maybe more likely your grandparents had, where you get a little bit of training, you get into a job or an organization, and you really just kind of progress throughout your career in that same organization, or at least in the same field. We know that there's likely to be many changes for us in the next couple of years or the next couple of decades in the workplace. And so co-op gives you that opportunity to really prepare for those inevitable changes that are probably going to happen, whether that's job changes, whether that's skill development changes, or whether that's, just kind of going from different sectors and doing different types of work throughout your career. So co-op gives you that chance to reflect after every work term, after every 4 months, and take stock of what it is that you've gained and how you can continue to present yourself to employers in meaningful ways, add those skills, and like I said, pivot to different organizations or different types of industries that you may be interested in. So on the next slide, we'll just kind of chat for a second. A lot of the times people feel like they want to be in co-op, but they might not really understand the full commitment that requires. It is quite a bit of work on top of your undergraduate degree, and I think it's important for students to know this going in. So there is the option to be in co-op or regular, and academically the programs are the same. It's up to you really how you want to spend your time outside of those study terms. So if you already have that summer job that you want to go back to every summer, or you already have an idea of how you want to spend that time and you like the consistency in having summers off, that's completely fine, but it's something to really consider if you do feel like co-op may be something you're interested in. The other piece too is thinking about the workload that it will add on during your recruitment term. So particularly for that first job search, it is quite a bit on top of your academic term. Many students will say to us, it's sort of like having another course added on, just because you are reviewing those applications, applying for jobs, and putting so much time in there. So just something to think about, and of course it takes a little bit longer too. So just something to think about as you're making these decisions in the next couple weeks. Along with, we'll go on to the next slide. Along with the co-op program, there's an additional fee. It is not a job placement fee, so we do not guarantee employment, and the program is really, the co-op fee is really a program fee that's divided up over 6 academic terms. So you pay the co-op fee from your 2A term onwards. You'll pay it through until 4B. You don't pay it on a co-op term. There's no additional fees when you're working, but it is a program fee that you can expect to be added to your tuition beginning in the fall if you choose to pursue co-op. All right, getting into what is co-op and how does it work? So basically, like I said before, co-op is not a guaranteed placement. It is a competitive job search process, and it's designed that way to mimic the real world. We want to make sure that you're getting as close to an experience as you would if you are a job searcher going out there upon graduation. And so we have a job board in Waterloo Works. I should note that all students have access to job postings in Waterloo Works for part-time or full-time work or graduating jobs, but only co-op students will have access to the Waterloo Works co-op job board, and you'll be given that in the term prior to your first work term. You'll apply to jobs that you're interested in. You can talk to advisors to figure out, what that looks like if you're not sure what types of jobs you may be suited for, interested in, and then employers will review applicants and select candidates to interview. You'll interview mostly at this point through our system, so through video interviews. Hopefully within the next year we can return to some in person, but for now it will all be virtual. And then the employers will have an opportunity to rank the students that they've interviewed, and you as the candidates will have an opportunity to rank the employers too, which will result in a job match in our system. And like I said, you'll start the co-op process in your second year and then alternate. So basically, once you start co-op, once you start your first job search, every time you're on an academic term, you'll also be looking for a job. Now we'll go into a little bit of the sequencing, just to give you an idea of when those work terms are scheduled. So there are two art sequences. There's the Honors Arts Co-op sequence and there's the Arts and Business sequence. For Honors Arts, you will be looking for work in the winter term of your second year. So in your case, you'll be looking for jobs in winter 2022 and your work term will be held in the spring 2022. For those of you in Arts and Business, as well as English and Fine Arts majors, you will begin looking for work in the fall. So right when you return to courses this September, and will be working in the winter of 2022. I also want to make note that there are some program changes going on in the Department of Economics. And so if that's a program, if that's a major that you're selecting, you can expect to likely be on your first work term in winter of 2022 and looking for your job this fall. So just wanted to put that out there, but your academic advisors will be communicating that with you in the next couple of months. And in addition, all co-op students will take a PD1 professional development career preparation course in your recruitment term. So you'll be taking that in the academic term prior to your first work term alongside looking for work. And it'll help you to build your resume and get a better sense of promoting yourself to prospective employers. And you can find more information about your sequencing and what the next couple of years will look like for you on the Arts Co-op website. So just wanted to make a little note here for international students. If you are an international student, please keep in mind that you will need to obtain a co-op work permit in order to accept a co-op job. Unfortunately, you won't be able to use the study permit to work in Canada. So please begin this process as soon as possible. It can be quite lengthy and take a couple of months to get everything processed. And we encourage you to reach out to the immigration consultants in the SSO to make sure you have everything lined up for this. So next, I just want to share a little bit of a story of a co-op student in arts to paint you a little bit of a picture of what your experience may or may not look like. As you can imagine, it's pretty varied for students in arts in terms of the type of work they can do. But just to give you an example, Kylie was an arts and business student who had 3 really distinct co-op work experiences. She went through the competitive job search process on Waterloo Works, just as you will do. And her first work term, she landed a job in a patient care setting. She found this job to be particularly challenging, and reflecting on it, I think she understands that it definitely gave her some essential workplace skills and helped her learn about herself. But most importantly, it helped her figure out what she didn't want to do with her career. And so she was able to pivot after that first work term into a different type of role. She actually took her next job at the Arts Undergraduate Office, planning social and academic events for students, and discovered that this aligned much better with her interests and ended up staying on for a second work term with the AUO. And she was able to take on more responsibility, which is sometimes the benefit of being able to have 2 work terms with the same organization or the same employer. They often will give you a little bit more added responsibility or challenge in that second work term because you've already proven yourself. So Kylie's 4th work term, she decided she wanted something different, and she ended up landing a job with a startup where her role looked very different again. It was fast-paced, constantly changing, and she had to juggle multiple competing demands at once. And so that really gave her a good perspective in terms of what a small organization is like to work in, and how the role maybe isn't as clearly defined. You're having to take on a lot of different tasks and responsibilities depending on the needs of the organization. Kylie credits her first work term for teaching her that flexibility and the importance of having an open mind to different opportunities or skills that can be developed on work terms. I share the story with you so that you can get a sense of how different co-op jobs can look from term to term, and that might be, geographically where they're located within Canada. It could be a mix of different workplace settings or responsibilities, and that you may not end up in the exact job that you expect, but it's all part of the learning process and ultimately supports you in figuring out what kind of career you want to have down the road. On to the next slide. I also wanted to just point out a couple of things. If you decide that you do want to pursue co-op, at Waterloo, there's lots of things that you can do, this summer and in the coming months to set yourself up for success. I recommend looking at job boards. This is something that can be particularly helpful to familiarize yourself with positions that may be of interest. If you're really not sure, what types of jobs you may want to do, going on to Workopolis or Monster or even, government job boards, anything like that will really give you a sense of what may be available, and looking up the skills that employers are looking for, where does that align with your skill set, or what would be good to highlight or work on before the job search commences. The job location is also a really big piece. So majority of our employers are located within the GTA or within Waterloo region, or at least Southern Ontario. So there's lots of opportunities within those areas. But as you can imagine, that's also where a number of students are living and want to work as well. So the competition for those jobs can sometimes be quite high. If you're able to be flexible or willing to go to other locations, it could be, a little small town, or I should say smaller town within Southern Ontario, that can really help to increase your opportunities for employment, simply because not as many students are going to be willing to go there. And so the competition is going to be significantly less. Another thing to keep in mind is thinking about smaller organizations to apply to for co-op jobs as well. So a lot of the times, we hear the great opportunities that tech companies and larger organizations are offering to co-op students. And while those are amazing work term experiences, there's also a ton of value to be had in startups or smaller businesses, especially a company who is still growing and evolving their business. They will often need your help in a variety of different areas. So you can find yourself working on projects in HR. You might be dealing with clients and manufacturing. You really can get a good sense of different aspects of the business, and often you may be called on to get into projects or do things that you wouldn't have expected. And so they can be really meaningful work opportunities for students and really give you a chance to grow and learn quite a bit. So just something that I wanted to put out there to keep your options open as much as possible. And I do recognize that these are challenging times, and perhaps moving somewhere seems like a little bit too much right now, and that's completely fine too. But something to keep in mind, it might be something that you are open to for your first work term or another co-op work term down the road. So on to the next slide. I also wanted to chat a little bit for those of you who may not be interested in co-op, just to let you know about the EDGE certificate program that we have. So this is a program that is only available to non-co-op undergraduate students. It is a program that supports professional development skills, exploration of your career options, and really gives you an opportunity to learn a little bit about different workplaces and get some exposure, not quite at the length or duration or commitment of co-op, but still gets you some of that career preparation components before you graduate. So it includes one workshop, one course. Actually, sorry, if we move to the next slide, that might be helpful. So here's a breakdown of really what the certificate would entail. So it's a skills identification course, a career development course, 3 community or workplace experiences. Like I said, those are not the same commitment as doing a 4-month placement, but it does give you that opportunity to immerse yourself in an organization or community setting. And then it's completed with a capstone course at the end. This program is entirely flexible. You can sign up at any time, and you really have throughout your whole undergraduate degree to complete these different components. And finally, I think one of the biggest things for all students, regardless of whether you're in co-op or in regular, is we want to make sure that you're familiar with the Center for Career Action. So that is located in the Tatham Center, and everything that they do is available online virtually right now as well. So it provides supports to first work term students who are looking for their first co-op job. So when you have all of those questions about Waterloo Works, about the system, about a particular job, about how to position yourself, they are your go-to team in order to be able to answer those questions and help you feel confident going into your job search. They have drop-in appointments for 15 minutes. So that might be a quick review of your cover letter or a couple bullet points on your resume that can just kind of make sure that you're on the right track, as well as full appointments that are 30 to 60 minutes. And that gives you that one-on-one, a little bit more in-depth time and conversation with a career advisor. They also have co-op consultations. these are the only the co-op consults are the only aspects of the Career Center that is specifically for co-op students. Everything else is available to all students at the grad and undergrad level and co-op and regular. And then they also have workshops available as well as events, career fairs, job fairs, AMAs with different industry professionals at different times throughout the year. So connecting to them and following some of the events and actions that are happening over there is really helpful, as well as familiarizing yourself with the Career Hub that they have, which is their online resource for everything job search and career education and preparation related. And that's all for me. I'm going to throw it back to the other Rachel.
Great, thanks, Rachel. So the next slide, I just want to talk a little bit about the academic eligibility for co-op. So this is basically the same eligibility that we talked about earlier to declare a major, with two differences. So the first is that to be in arts co-op, you need to be in an honors major. And so that's with the 70% honors average in that major subject. You still need to have a cumulative average of at least 60%, a minimum of 8 courses completed. The second difference is you can have a maximum of 13 courses completed before the fall term begins. So I mentioned this earlier when we were talking about taking spring courses. So that's just something to be aware of, that you can have a maximum of 13 courses before the fall term begins. If you're interested in co-op and what Rachel was talking about sounds like the right fit for you, you can declare the co-op program right on the Declare Your Major form, and we will assess your eligibility for that going forward. If you do have questions about co-op or want to talk further, you can of course reach out to your academic advisors for further information. All right, so I hope that was helpful and that we answered your questions about your major, the different opportunities available, as well as those about the co-op program. So thank you all for coming. It was really great to have this chance to talk about the Declare Your Major process, and I hope that you got your questions answered. So thanks for coming. Enjoy the rest of your day.